Hi, hello, Yama Man here again. Right, today's video about my Yamaha Tricity 125. I'm going to give you a rundown of basically as ownership of one, what to expect and what not to sort of expect. So like in my previous video with the 300, I was giving my viewpoints. Obviously I don't own that bike as such, but obviously this one is I'm now going to do the 125 version, but I will also give you my obviously personal experiences with it as well. Obviously, if you look at my other videos, you will see other events that I've done with it, but this is more technical specifications and overall performance, etc., etc. So let's have a look, shall we? Right. So Yamaha Tricity 125. Now this is for the, well, my model is the 2018 with the Yamaha NMAX fitted to it. So it's a single cylinder 125cc cubic capacity, 4 valve motor, has about 12 brake horsepower give or take, with 11.7 apparently according to Yamaha Newton meters of torque. Tyres for the front 90, 80, 14, and then a 130, 70, 13 for the rear. So obviously, as I was saying, like 300 video, obviously they're oddly matched on this one. It's got a 7.2 litre fuel tank. I'll talk to you more about that shortly. And apparently weighs wet at 164 kilos. So she's a chunky girl, that's for sure. Right, so what can I say about her? So my 2018 model, I bought it second hand. I bought it with 1100 miles. And obviously, if you have seen other videos on my channel, you may have seen certain things, but for those that haven't, I will go over roughly things. So obviously I found out that my bike was a ex-demonstrator model. Obviously if you want to have a look at the previous things about issues, I won't go into that in this video, but it was an ex-demonstrator model. So what's it like to ride? So from ease of convenience, it's very easy to ride. Yes, it's very easy. You can roll it around at about 3 miles an hour and put your feet down. On the 125 model, however, it does not have stability lock. So remember, put your foot down or Humpty Dumpty story. Comfort-wise, for its money, for its class, I would say it's average. It's okay. The front is a little harsh. It's not too bad, you know. Normal average bumps it's okay with. If you've got ruts in the road or like corrugations, that can get a bit hard, I won't lie. The back seems to soften it out. Not too bad, not too bad. The tyres, well, on my particular model for the 2018 came with IRC tyres, so that's some Thailand from factory tyres. The compound's not too bad personally. I mean, I've just, as I say, I've just managed to get 9,500 miles out of them tyres, so I don't think that's too bad a thing. So what else has it got with it? LED headlights at the front, that's good, not bad. It's no fancy technology, you know, we don't expect the beam to be moving around as you're moving them front wheels, because it won't do that. Obviously, you get what you pay for, sort of thing. But it's okay. It's got an old-fashioned 12-volt socket on the leg board on the right-hand side, a little swing door where you can charge your phone. But you can't put anything other than phone. Any decent sized smartphone these days, you can't put it in there, so it is a little bit useless. Display wise, it's got like a TFT display, black and white. It shows your fuel gauge, obviously speedometer, your odometer, and your outside temperature, which is really handy. To be fair, I like that. I mean, for a little tiny scooter, for it to have an outside temperature thing, it's nice, especially when weather gets a little bit inclement. It's obviously got your trip. It's got a trip 1, trip 2, oil trip, belt trip, and then obviously it's standard thingy. Very simple, very, it's not complicated. It's quite straightforward. It's ideal first time learner's bike, but anyone can ride it really. Seat wise, yeah, seat's okay, it's comfortable. 2.5 hours you can get out on that seat, I would say. But most people won't ride a Yamaha Tricity 125 like I do, and probably don't go touring on it as much. So if you're poodling around town, yeah, happy days. It'll easily do it and easily please you, and it'll feel very nippy. It'll feel very nippy in town. So it's got what's known as variable valve timing, so it will adjust the valves as you apply certain revs. So there's like a cam lobe into it. There's a cam lobe inside the engine. As it builds the revs up, it moves over onto this other lobe and basically allows the engine more power. It's known as like a blue core engine, what Yamaha call it at least. And it does, it's quite peppy. I mean, I think it's about 6,000 RPM it kicks in, or probably just above 40, 45 mile an hour, depending on how you hold of that throttle. And it's, yeah, I mean, for its little classes, she's punchy. I mean, if you've ever rode other 125s, I know I rode the previous model to it, it feels a lot faster than a 125, to be fair. And it's good. It's good. Top speed, Yamaha say it'll do 68 mile an hour. Realistically, 60 to 62 on the flat normally. That's what you'll only normally ever get. What's she like on open roads? Around town, fine. Bigger roads, she's fine. Big A roads, it doesn't feel out of place, but you know where the size of the bike is. The 125 of it. You know when you take it, like it says, being a city bike, obviously you take it out the city, it does feel a little bit underwhelmed. Not gonna lie, but it doesn't, like the previous generation, it doesn't feel as bad. And obviously, if you again look at my other videos, you will see what she is more than capable of doing. So yeah, she's good. Fuel wise, I would say she's about 120 miles to the gallon. So 7.2 litre tank. It's good, and more than adequate for everyday use. More than adequate. I mean, obviously, if you go like what I do, it's a different story. But yeah, she's fine with that. What else has she got on it? Let's have a think now. What she got? Obviously indicators are standard. The wing mirrors on the modern Tricity, there wasn't. I didn't like them personally. I actually went and bought new mirrors from the previous generation because the design I personally thought that would look better. So I took the mirrors off that came on this model off and put them back on, and it just looks better. Underneath the handlebar cover, there's actually an auxiliary port, a spare auxiliary port. There's a top tip for you. I think it does say it somewhere in your owner's manual as well. And that's for basically like if you want to fit heated grips onto it. So there is a little spare auxiliary port there waiting for you. So that's handy. That's handy. What else can I really say about it? don't want to be giving you too much dead air really. She's stylish. I think she's quite stylish. I mean, Yamaha have designed it quite well. On this model, the coolant bottle is like under the footboard sort of thing. You would have to take the battery shroud off the front, just below the seat, and then you'll see the coolant bottle below. Sometimes what I've done also is remove the side sill so you can actually fully see it, but there is like a little hole in the actual sill that Yamaha have cut out so you can actually see where the minimum max is. So it's cleverly thought out, the little 125. It's obviously, because of the cost of it, I think out to the showroom right now would probably set you back on the road probably £4,200. So she's mid-ranged, I would say, for a 125. You know, like your Yamaha X Max. I mean, they're about what 125s I'm referring to. They're about £5,000 now. So she's not far off. But I think personally it's good value for money. So that's probably what roughly she's got. Now, what would if I was making it a Dream 125, a Dream Tricity, what would I probably have on it? What would I do to it? Right, so what would I do to it? If money wasn't an object, them front forks, I'd have them completely stripped down, rebuilt, even if they had to be CNC'd, whatever, to introduce dampening or something like that, you know, proper like Olin setup, something like that. I know it sounds crazy for a scooter, but I would. I mean, if I could, I would completely rejig the whole, have some specialist suspension company just take the whole gubbins apart, you know, whatever they have to do to make it look good, and just completely strip it, rebuild it, and make it up. So, you know, them front wheels just work in harmony. And I mean, I could guarantee you, the comfort of that bike would be, I'm sure it'd be amazing for where it is. And then I'd probably stick Olin shocks on the rear swing arm. So that from the comfort level. Seat wise, as I said, is comfortable, but I'd completely have a custom seat, absolute custom. You know, like if you ever look at a Honda Goldwing seat, you know, really nice, luxurious padded, diamond type seat, I'd probably do that to it. I'd also have it rigged so the seat is heated. You know, everyone likes a bit of luxury. I'd stick heated grips on it. You'd be amazed how good heated grips are. They're very nice. If you look on the Yamaha 300 Tricity right now, it's got nice little fancy stalk indicators just off the side of its wing. I would fit them. I would fit them to the 125 Tricity. Fog lights type thing also, just to give you a bit more wider light beam when you're travelling at night. I'd definitely put them on. That would be a good one. What else would I do? I mean, engine performance wise, now obviously it's a 125, so you are limited to physically what you could do. Maybe, I think that for this particular model of bike, you can actually buy a gearing thing that fits in the back. So you basically have to take all the bell housing off, all the clutch, and then into the final drive, and there's like a different sprocket you can buy. And I believe that would make the bike a little bit more nippier. I would probably do that. You could look at other things, but then it's not really sort of keeping it stock, is it? And I don't really want to go too custom, if that makes sense. I mean, you could say, oh well, you could change the roller weights, you could change the variator, you could change the clutch spring, you know, a coil lead, remap it, sort of thing. But it's not really worth doing, to be fair, because obviously it's a 125, and you're just never going to get that performance. But I'm just saying. I mean, there's just tiny little tweaks you could do to this machine, and I think it would be absolutely bomb on for what it is. Some people would say, oh, well, why bother? It's a three-wheeler, but end of the day, this is why if you're here on my channel, this is what I'm always going to talk about. I mean, I like the Tricity, I like the three-wheeled concept. Some people don't. It's just a fact of life. But yeah, I mean, it's a good bike. So I mean, like referring to when it's, when you're flowing with traffic and whatnot. So say you like doing 40, 45 mile an hour, and you see the road ahead, cars are stopping, they've got to turn or whatever, and you're all like slowing down. So if you slow it down, but say you don't come to a complete stop, so say you're rolling around mid-30s, okay? Now bear in mind, because of the size of the engine, you try to pull the throttle back on it. Obviously, yes, she goes and she will move forward, but it feels very, very long and very delayed, and it does take a while for it to just regain momentum. So just bear that in mind when you buy one. It's not lethargic, it's just, I think, because it's only got 11.7 newton meters of torque, and the way the engine's set up, and obviously being a CVT transmission, the power is very linear on the Tricity, so you'll find it all like that. So if you sort of stopping halfway, like there, and trying to get it to go again, sometimes because of the low torque, it's like, oh, come on baby, get going, yeah, that's it, gone. That's what you sort of find. So, I mean, don't obviously put yourself at risk, but if you can sort of stop and restart again, that's probably the better option. I mean, obviously, as you get bigger bikes, I mean, you don't obviously find that problem, but it's just the limitations of the bike, unfortunately. But I mean, that aside, I mean, that's very minor, very minor. So yeah, let's say going back on road. She will overtake HGVs. Just be cautious. She will do it, but the bow wave, you get off the front of them wagons, be careful. Try and go as wide as you can away from them, from a safety point of view as well. And only make sure you're doing it on the flat, or you've got a downhill advantage, because if you try to overtake that truck and that road slightly increases, you'll find the sheer power of that wagon and the amount of torque that thing's got, even if it's carrying 40 ton, you'll end up down the side of it. You'll just see it come in front of you. Trust me, I've done it. So if you have to overtake HGV wagons, make sure you planned it correctly. It can be done. She can do it. Obviously, I know we're talking about this one, but like the previous one, she couldn't do that. So there has been improvements in technology in being able to do things like that. So yeah, where are we at now? So we've covered what she is, what she does, what I would like to do to her. What's the other gripes I probably have? The fact that the UK model doesn't have ABS. You can see all the stuff where the ABS wiring is supposed to go on these bikes, but it's not on. That's due to a law in this country, because they obviously having three wheels and it has a unified braking system, which prevents it from having the need in this country to have it. I mean, I know it's a little safety thing, and I know being three wheels, it's more than adequate, and it is. It stops on a dime. It does. It absolutely stops on a dime. I mean, honestly, if you ever need it to stop from 60, I can assure you, press some levers down correctly. It's like chucking anchor out at window. It is good. But yeah, no, as I say, it's a good little bike. Just for its money, for its money, it's good. It is a good little machine. If you're wanting to expect super expectations, then you're going to be disappointed. It won't do it. But I don't know. I mean, they say that the Tricity 125 was supposed to rival the Honda PCX. Now, personally, the Honda PCX, it's got a rear drum brake. At least on the Tricity 125, it's discs all around, and you've got one extra disc stopping you, so you've got twice as much braking power in effect, and it can be relatively strong if you use it in the right way. So yeah, I mean, they say it's supposed to rival the PCX, but you know, and there has been rumours that the PCX will walk away off the lights faster than it. Maybe briefly it will. Because obviously the Tricity is 160 odd kilos and the PCX is what, probably a 130. So you know, you've got your power to weight advantage. One thing I've also noticed as well was talking about how peppy what this little 125 is. She can beat other 125s. It's very equally matched, but I mean, I one time had an opportunity to go alongside a Honda Grom. You know, being obviously a geared bike, you think, oh well, it won't stand a chance. On the initial stages, it was very equally matched. But as I said to you, yes, she will do a 60 to 62 mile an hour indicated, but she has that potential to go to 68 mile an hour. Well, I remember getting to about 59, 60, and then just stepping over that 61, 62 barrier. She walked away. I'm not okay, she didn't run away, but she walked away from the Honda Grom. Three-wheeled. And bear in mind, at the time, I was loaded up. I was actually going on holiday. I had panniers on, I had the top box full, I had weight in, and including myself, I'm a 100 kilo rider, so I'm not the lightest chap. And she walked away from a Honda Grom. And within, let's say 30 seconds, just a little bit more, at the end of the day, it's not a super bike, it's not seconds, is it? There was adequate distance between her and that Honda Grom. So that's what I'm saying. She is very nippy. She is nippy for a class. So, I mean, you try to put her against some things. Yeah, I have all confidence she'll beat him. Unless you've modified your other 125 in such a way. I mean, you only need really that Tricity 125 and a 60 kilo rider, you know. If you could take 40 kilos off of me, which I'm a broad lad, I don't think that's going to happen, 40 kilos. But I mean, if you could have been another lad, well, it'd be even quicker. So, yeah, it's a good machine. It's a good machine. So yeah, I mean, I'm getting now towards the end of the video. So yeah, if you are considering buying a Yamaha Tricity 125, I do actually highly recommend buying them. For the money, for the £4,200, brand spanking new, approximately, they're well worth the money. You don't get everything in the world on them, no. Are they the most comfortablest? No. Are they the most reliablest? Hell, yes. I mean, I've been told before that Hondas are very reliable. But this, from what I've had, I mean, okay, you could look at a couple of videos regarding the little issue I had, but rest in it, God, yeah, very, very reliable. As I say, you know, end of the day, you could have a Chinese bike in, you know, made of Chinesium and be very, very unreliable. So, but no, she's very reliable. I highly recommend it. If I was giving a 5-star rating on the Tricity 125, what would I give it? 4. I think a 4's adequate. It's got, yeah, I would say E for effort. It's definitely got it. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video and my little roughly ideas and tips and etc. If you like my channel, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, consider subscribing. That would be great. I'm hoping to try and build the channel a little bit better by every video. So thank you very much for sticking around. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.